Whispers in the pines. The sun dipped behind the jagged peaks of the San Juan Mountains, casting long shadows that stretched like the fingers of a dying hand. Mara, a 16-year-old with an adventurous spirit, had persuaded her friends to spend the weekend at her family's cabin, nestled deep within the Colorado wilderness. The forest surrounding the cabin buzzed with life, the rustle of leaves, the calls of distant birds, and the same overly loud chatter that filled the car on the way up. "Let's see who can make it to the old pine tree before sunset," Mara challenged, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Her two friends, Jake and Lila, accepted without hesitation. The trio sprinted through the underbrush, laughter mingling with the sounds of their hurried footsteps. As they approached the ancient pine, its gnarled branches resembling skeletal arms reaching for the heavens, Lila hesitated. "Wait, isn't this where?" "Chicken," Jake teased, pushing her playfully. "Come on, it's just a tree." Mara slid to a stop beside the towering pine, feeling a strange shudder race through her spine. Legends haunted these woods, the stories of skinwalkers, shapeshifters who wore the skins of animals to blend into the night. Elders spoke of them in hushed tones, and Mara had always dismissed them as mere folklore. But standing there, under the eerie twilight, those tales slithered into her thoughts like snakes in the grass. Maybe we shouldn't," Lila began when a low rustling interrupted her. The sound came from the bush nearby, a gentle crackle like crumbling leaves in the wind. Instinctively, the three friends turned to look, squinting into the dim light. A bobcat emerged, its eyes shining with an otherworldly glow. For a moment, they stood captivated, unsure of whether to admire or flee. "Look how cute it is," Mara said, crouching down to get a better view. But something was off. The bobcat's posture was unnaturally rigid, the way it tilted its head, almost calculating. Lila took a cautious step backward. "It looks different." At that moment, the creature's features seemed to distort. The fur bristled and its face melted into an unsettling arrangement of human-like features. Its yellow eyes flickered, now filled with something sinister, and it let out a low growl that sent shivers down Mara's spine. "Run!" Lila screamed. The three friends bolted back toward the cabin, branches whipping their arms and legs, breaths short and frantic. As they reached the clearing, they glanced behind. The bobcat stalked them, its form shifting. One moment it was a bobcat, and in the next, it was a shadowy figure covered in fur, moving with an inhuman grace. Mara slammed the cabin door shut, locking it with trembling hands. "What was that?" she gasped, trying to catch her breath. Jake leaned against the door, his face pale. "A skinwalker? We should have never come here." Lila looked out through a small window, anxiety etched across her features. "It's gone. I think we lost it." But Mara's heart pounded. The stories she'd dismissed danced hauntingly in her mind. "We need to leave. Now." "No," Jake protested, his voice shaking. "It's getting dark. We can't drive on those roads." As if answering his statement, a series of knocks echoed through the silence of the night. They exchanged anxious glances. Light clattering accompanied the knocking. It was as if a dozen hands were drumming against the cabin. It was closing in. "Let's check if we can call someone," Lila suggested, her voice breaking as she moved toward the rusty old landline in the small kitchen. Mara turned her back to the door, trying to calm her racing heart. "We shouldn't separate." Suddenly, there was a soft whisper outside. "Mara," the voice was achingly familiar, drawing her toward the door instinctively. It wasn't a growl this time. It sounded like her mother. "Mom?" Mara breathed, her throat tightening with dread. The others looked at her with equal parts curiosity and horror. "Open the door, sweetheart. It's me. I'm home." The voice was enchanting, yet laced with something disturbing. "No, don't," Jake shouted, leaping to her side. "That's not your mom. It's a trick." But Mara could feel her determination wavering. It was her mother's voice, warm, loving, but twisted. The whispering continued, growing more insistent. "Mara, please." Then she remembered. Skinwalkers mimic the voices of loved ones. Her mother would never end up here. Suddenly, the front door splintered, a blur of fur and claws crashing through. The grotesque shape lunged forward, eyes glowing with darkness, foreboding all she had feared. They had to act quickly. "Run!" The back, Mara yelled as she darted for the staircase that led to the loft. In a wild surge of adrenaline, they scrambled up the creaking wooden steps, the beast's horrific growls reverberating through the cabin as it hunted them. They reached the loft, their breaths echoing in the silence as they barricaded the door with a nearby mattress. The creature raged below, clawing, snarling. But there was another sound too, a soft, sad sob, echoing like a whisper in the wind. Mara pressed her ear against the door, straining to hear past the chaos. "Mara," the voice begged softly. "Help me." The thing was clever, its trickery matched with rage. She could feel her friend's panic and fear radiate into a palpable tension. But in that moment, something hardened within Mara, a will to survive. She glanced at her friends. "We can't let it in. We're stronger together. We have to be." Hours passed, and just as the dawn began to bleed orange across the horizon, a deafening roar pierced the dark, followed by an unsettling silence. They dared to peek through the cracks, heartbeats in sync with the light creeping through. The beast was gone, but so were their spirits. The stories were real, and they had seen the truth in the night. They awakened not just to a new day but to a stark reality. A return to the world felt forever altered. They knew that the forest held secrets they weren't meant to uncover, and as the cabin door creaked open to the dawn, Mara felt a lingering, cold dread that they had only just escaped. Some things don't remain hidden in the woods. They linger, waiting for the darkness to cloak their monstrous truths once more. And they would be back. They always came back.